Well, hello, ladies and gents. How you're doing? Last episode, we got the crop farm storage system sorted, and now we have the farms themselves in place. That's right. There we go. We have 3 of the potato, then we have 3 carrot, 3 wheat, 3 beetroot, and at the top, both a pumpkin and a melon smasher. So we now have plenty of farms. That should get us going. But there's a slight problem with all of that. The only farms that are currently working are the pumpkin and melon ones because they don't need villagers. All of these ones, these bottom 6 and the middle 6, they need villagers in them. So we're going to have to set up a villager breeder. So that's the first thing that we need to get done. Well, I say first thing, we've already got the first thing done. This is the second thing that we need to get done in this episode. And that is a villager breeder. Now, we do actually have some villagers already that we saved from the village that was just over the way over there. But if we're going to get a villager breeder, we need somewhere to put them. So, just over this way, we have a road mapped out. And we have some buildings mapped out over here as well. Now, what I'm thinking is over this side, we're going to be doing some brownstone terraces like they have in Brooklyn and New York City. That's what I'm taking the inspiration from. And we're going to have, how many did I get in here? 5, yep, 5 along here. Now, we're actually going to be putting the villager breeder just in this end one over here. Is it this one? Maybe this one? One of these two anyway. And we're going to have the brownstone isn't actually going to have any floors or anything. It is going to be a hollow shell. So much like in London, there's a few buildings where the facades are fake because they actually hide entrances to the London Underground. Here we're going to have a few that are fake because they actually hide our farms. So yeah, when I say farms, one of these is going to be the villager breeder. And this one over here, well, these 2, as you can see, we have a larger plot. I'm thinking eventually we're going to be hiding our iron farm behind there. So yeah, we're going to have an iron farm behind these, villager breeder over there. And that does leave a couple of extra spots for some farms. Now this one might be a good size for possibly a cactus farm. And then over here, this would be a good size for sugarcane. So we would have 5 houses, 4 farms. But for now, we are going to start work on the villager breeder down at the end here so that we can get these villagers up and running and get them in our crop farms. That way we've got the crops coming in so we can get those ready for when we start our villager trading hall. So yes, this is all a kind of a step-by-step to getting our villager trades up and running. So now we need to get the villager breeder in. But I think first things first, why don't we build the facades for these 5 houses so we get some sort of idea of how it is going to look in this little block of houses. So, yep, you know what? Time for another time lapse. So let's get the music going and let's get these facades built up. just like that, we have the facade of 5 terrace houses. And yeah, I think that looks pretty nice. It's a little bit taller than I was expecting in this area, but still, the little details I think come out really nice. All we do need to do is we need some street lights over here, which we'll eventually do when we figure out the plan for the rest of this. I've got a feeling we may have a little bit of a car park just here, maybe like a little residential car park. And we'll end up doing something with the beach along here. But for now, there's something else that we need to get done, because while I've been getting all these resources, I've been either flying all the way across, which starts to run up the rocket cost quite a lot, or I've been running over here and then having to go over that little dirt pillar across there. So you know what? I think it's about time that we built a bridge connecting these two. Nothing too big. It's actually going to be quite small compared to some of these buildings, but it needs to be tall enough so that the bus can get through. So you know what? I'm going to get this done now, and then no more having to tiptoe across that dirt or using all of our rockets just to get to the other side. Okay, and there we go. We now have a fully functioning, well, I say fully functioning, it's pretty easy to make a fully functioning one, a bridge over what will eventually be the river. Yeah, there's not actually water under here at the minute because we still need to do quite a bit of terraforming under here, because I do want to make this river a little bit deeper. And of course, we've still got the villagers underneath these torches right here. Listen. Yep, they're still in there. So yeah, we need to get those guys moved. But first, we need to get this villager breeder built. Now, I believe Jock has actually got an example over at his base, which is fairly simple. And basically just involves a few beds, a couple of trapdoors, and a couple of villagers in a little enclosure. So let's go have a quick look at that. And we will get, probably if it's that simple, the exact same thing built just in this end house over here. And we're probably going to build it up on that floor, the middle floor, what will be the middle floor. Because we'll probably want to get to the top so that we can chuck in some carrots for them to breed. And then we'll have a little collection system down below so that we can send them off to the farm, which is actually behind there. So yeah, let's go and have a look at Jock's villager breeder and just see how simple this actually is going to be. So here we are over at Jock's. This is his UFO base. Quite a lot of marble as you first come through the portal. And this is his villager breeder system over here. Now he's actually got it set up so that they get converted into zombie villagers. Let's just turn those mob sounds down, shall we? No, not that one. There we go. There we are. Yeah, he's actually got it set up so that they get turned into zombie villagers so they can cure them first. And that's what all of this is. But I do believe the actual villager breeder is just up here. And yeah, look at that. We've got a couple of villagers that are busy chucking carrots at each other, some beds, and some trapdoors. And apparently the way this works is the baby villagers try to get to the beds, but of course they fall through the trapdoors. So yeah, I'm guessing they're not currently breeding because you have all of these guys. No, because if these guys are zombie villagers, they shouldn't count to the villager cap, should they? I'm not sure. I'll have to have a check with Jock, but just realised I've never actually seen this from the outside. Let's just take a quick look. Last time I was over here, he was only halfway through building, so now that's a pretty nice looking build. That's a lot of quartz in there as well. Because this is the remnants of his old base. He actually had a couple of he did some floating islands. Now there was an island in the middle that connected all these, but oh, look at that. You actually have the lights that go around as well. That's pretty cool. I wonder if he's going to have some beacons going up so you get the beacon beam. Then of course they go straight through it, wouldn't it? But yeah, that's pretty cool. Anyway, we're over here to look at the villager breeder. It's a very simple design. You see he's got some glass above the villagers just so they don't get turned into witches. So yeah, let's have a crack at building this over behind our terrace facade. And then hopefully we can get some villagers bred up and we can finally get our farms up and running. Well, that is that set up, and hopefully that should work. So we have a chamber up there that will have in there. There we go. The 2 villagers will be in there. As they breed, any babies should be attracted to the beds, go through that gap, fall through the trapdoors, because of course they can see the trapdoors as solid blocks. They think they can path over there, and fall down here. Now I've put the water in to hopefully try and push them along, rather than having to wait for the villagers to grow up and just wander along. We'll see how it works. We might have to take the water out. That's a bit of an addition I put in. Then once they've grown up, they can get caught in this water, so they rise up, fall down there. There is actually a water block just down there. There's a saturated slab, and then the grown-up villagers should hopefully collect in this room down here. So let's go and grab a couple of the villagers from down there, get them up in the chamber. And I've actually got some carrots on me. I went and harvested one of our farms and replanted it. I've got 9 stacks of carrots, which should be more than enough. So let's get the villagers in and give this a go and see if this works. And hopefully, next time we come back, we should have some grown up adult villagers in this room down below. So fingers crossed, folks. Let's see how we do. Well, behind this end terrace house, we now have a working village breeder. That's right, folks. We are up and running, and I've started to do a little bit of work getting some of the floors in, at least so we can get up to the top floor to put in some food for the villagers. So as you can see, we have villagers. Yes, the breeding system is working. I think we've got about a dozen in there. Let's just quick count. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And there are some babes. So if we come on up this way, up the stairs, here are our 2 breeders. I did have a nitwit in there, so we thought we might as well make use of him, since we won't be able to trade with him at all, and he won't be able to become a farmer. So we've stuck him in here to breed. And if we come right on up, here we go. There's the hatch, and we can just chuck in the carrots. Brilliant. So they breed up. Babies fall through. As you can see, there's 3 down there, which means 1 must have just grown up, because there's normally 4. And when there's actually 4 there, because we only have 4 beds, these guys stop. So it's a way of keeping the flow going. And then of course they grow up, they go down there, they land on that block, and yeah, we now have a room full of villagers. So what I am going to do for the interiors of this is, once we've figured out the collection system for these villagers so we can take them out, I'm going to get the walls up along the edges, so a wall along the back, on the inside. We're going to get some background walls around the chambers, so that if you can see, where's it, down here, this will actually be visible. But of course, I don't want to be able to see straight through, so there will be a wall along there, so it's like a background block, so to speak. We're going to have a bit of redstone, because I want to, in order to be able to get these guys, we're going to use the old corner trick, the minecart. So a minecart is going to go up into that corner once these guys are pushed into that corner. And to do that, we will trigger this dispenser with a water bucket. And that will force them all into that far corner. So they should be able to pick them up with a minecart. So what we'll do is we'll most likely have 2 buttons. One here, one here. Push one button, the water goes out. Push another button, it sends off a minecart to pick them up. Then what we might actually do, thinking about it, is that minecart, it will come out here, we'll have it come down here and then stop at a holding station. That way we can actually make use of the basement, or the basement floor. If you think about it, that's where these doors are. And then we can send them off wherever we need. So we can actually have maybe an underground tunnel, and then we'll just have temporary tunnels shooting off wherever we need them. That's not a bad idea, I think. And we'll also have a floor at the top and a floor halfway. And we might decorate them, we might just leave them bare. Because to be honest, this is a functional building, not an aesthetic one. But anyway, we now have a working village breeder, which is brilliant. Oh, got a bit dark. Hello. Into the light. Yes, we now have a working villager breeder, and now I've got the fun task of getting all of these guys over to our farm. Because remember, we need 18 villagers for these farms. Because we need 6 guys up there, in these ones, actual farmers harvesting the crops, so their inventories need to be full up of seeds. And then these ones down at the bottom, just come on in, it's going to hurt, yep, out, come on, there we go. We need one to be stood just the other side of this wall, inside, and a farmer in there, because then what will happen is the guy that's in there will try to throw the crops to this fella, but they won't reach and they'll actually fall down the chute. So yeah, these farms require 2 villagers. So 12 for these, another 6 for them, 18 villagers from over there up here via minecarts and dirt tracks. That is going to be fun, but we're not going to be doing that today. I think we're going to call it a day there, folks. I know this has been a relatively short episode compared to usual, but we've got a lot done. We started off by actually getting these farms built. So that was quite a big one. That was quite a long time lapse as well. Sped it up faster than I normally do, and it was still about 4 or 5 minutes long. Then we got the facade all built. We got the brownstones in place, as well as actually having this road all laid out. That took a bit of time as well. Just the prep work took a bit of time. But we have the brownstones. We have our bridge, which I think came out really nicely. It's big enough for buses to get under, because there will be a bus stop over here. And yeah, we have a villager breeder. So that's what, 5 little, well, 2 little projects, the facades and the bridge, and a big project and a working farm. So yeah, I think we've done a fair bit this episode, and we're going to leave it there today. So thank you very much for joining me, ladies and gents. If you have enjoyed this episode, please be sure to go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps out. And if you haven't already, why don't you go ahead and subscribe? I don't really have a set schedule at the minute, so it's the best way of finding out when the new videos come out. Hit the subscribe button and maybe even ring that bell so you get notified. But anyway, folks, for now, as the sun sets over our city, which we still need a name for, I'm going to say thank you very much for joining me, ladies and gents. Until next time, take it easy, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Bye! Bye, guys! Now, what's going to be the next big build?